Yesterday, October 15, 2025, a Go tournament shocked the world. Shin Jinseo, the #1 Go player in Korea, was in the finals in the Yanke Cup, facing against Yifei in the finals. And the winner of that tournament will take home a 1.8 million yuan prize money, which equates to just over $250,000 US. This is one of the most fascinating games in Go in 2025. Shin Jinseo is 25, Yifei is 31, and after Yifei won the tournament, he even said this.
已经过30了，然后能够又拿到自己的第2个世界冠军，
就是感觉自己下的是越来越好，就每盘棋都是发挥的还可以，就没有说。
Which basically translates to, my age is not a disadvantage. Now let's dive into the game and see what the game is about. Yifei had the black pieces, Shin Jinseo had the white pieces, and Yifei started the game with a 2-space enclosure from the 3-4 Komoku. These are all very normal stuff. Now, Shin Jinseo chose a 1-space high pincer. This isn't as common nowadays, but this is absolutely fun to play as well. 1-space jump, normal Joseki, and this move is actually quite creative. In the classical Joseki, this approach, this re-pincer, is actually the most common move to be played. White usually jumps, black attaches, and black gets the corner, and white gets the thickness or the outside influence. This Joseki is once again an equal result for both black and white, and it leaves the game a bit simpler because it follows the basic Joseki principle. But in the actual game, Yifei decided to play a more dynamic move. This move doesn't give white enough space to make base over here on the bottom, on the left side, and it also pressures this corner a lot as well. So in the next move, black can either approach this side or approach this side and leave this cornerstone in a lot of uncomfortable position. If white commits too much on the right side or on the bottom side, later on black can go ahead and pressure against this one white stone, the empty corner. If white goes ahead and pressures these two black stones, for example by pushing and doing a nice move trying to jump out, black can jump out and fight at the same time, and it does leave this white stone a bit of a headache to deal with. White has to run away, and it's going to enter a very early fight. So in the actual game, Shin Jinseo decided to just secure the corner and let whatever happens in this position unfold naturally. Black plays this nice move is once again a top AI recommendation. White has to jump out toward the center. Otherwise, if white pushes this way, then this fight becomes almost unbearable for white. This one white stone will be hard to escape, although the engine says this position is playable, but I'm sure Shin Jinseo probably didn't want to give up this white stone so easily. So in this position, white decided to jump out and run toward the center. Black obviously takes the most important place that white didn't play. This is a vital point for white, and since white didn't play the vital point, black is going to play the vital point. White extend, black push, white extend, black push, white extend, black push one more. The reason white extends 3 times is because if white, let's say, plays somewhere else by jumping out, black will get the head of 3 stones, and this will be a very uncomfortable position for white to deal with. So it is very important that in Go, you don't let your opponent get the head of 3 stones. So white extends one more. Now after black pushes again, white no longer needs to extend, and white can just play it elsewhere and try to settle this group and build some shape. The reason is if black gets ahead of 4 stones, it doesn't matter too much because white can use a double hane, threaten this weakness, and white can extend. There are no weaknesses here whatsoever. There is no RG. Therefore, with 4 stones, white is safe to Tenuki. So in the actual game, white played this nice move. It's actually a very beautiful move. Number 1, fixes the shape from these white stones. It gives these stones a very nice shape and a very good structure, and simultaneously it actually pressures against these 2 black stones. You see, this move actually takes away the entire base of these 2 black stones, and it forces the black stones to either jump toward the center or keep running to escape. So in this position, Yifei also did a double hane, but since white has 4 stones lined up, there is no danger, and the shape is actually very solid. Therefore, Shin Jinseo actually went ahead and keep on developing these weak stones and pressure against these 2 black stones. Perfect direction and a very correct direction to play. Black attaches, giving his stone a direction and jumping towards the center. In this position, there are few options available. Black can either attach like this, jump out with a nice move. This is also a very flexible shape. Black can also choose this nice move to jump out, Black can also choose this nice move using a shoulder hit while escaping. So these are all possible ways that Black can choose and decide to jump towards the center. So Black did attach and extend, White pushed up one more. In the actual game, Black extended, but AI recommends that Black can actually even cut over here and start a fight. If White harnesses, the engine recommends to cut straight away and start a fight. If White extends like this, then Black can just extend. And there is some cutting point weakness around here, and these two white stones in the center are also very weak. If White extends like this, Black can extend on the other way. Number one, it also pressures against these two white stones. If White turns over here, then Black can just do a one space jump, settle the shape, and White still has to handle this kind of weakness. And more or less, White has to try and make life on the bottom side of the board and probably give up one or two of these keystones. So this is also a playable idea and a playable scenario. Compared to the actual game, this will give White a more influence toward the top side and an influence toward the center. In the actual game, Black extended, White obviously has a cutting point, so Shin Jinseo had to go back and connect the stones, and Black turned on top like this. Now, you see this variation versus variation I showed just then. This variation, White still has an influence toward the center, but Black gets the influence and the potential to make territory on the top side of the board. And this is exactly what happened. So White first did a double harness because in this position, if White plays somewhere else, if Black gets his Atari and connect, Black has no weakness, and if Black gets to push a J2, then it's going to create a lot of endgame pressure and even potential RG inside of White's shape. So White plays the most solid move, double Hane, which is a center because Black has a cutting point, and White extends. It's a very big move, big sequence. It builds the territory, reduces Black's territory, and it also weakens this Black shape. So Black attaches, number one, trying to make some base, make his group alive, and number two, strengthen his own group and take away White's corner. White's descent is a very strong move at number one, threatening this push and cut, and also threatening to take away Black's corner. Now, Black's next sequence is actually very, very beautiful. Black pushes, White actually cannot block like this. The reason is, if White blocks like this, Black has this endgame, and later on these two moves, if Black gets to block over here, then these two moves become sente, and White has to start filling in his own territory. And that is going to be very uncomfortable for Shin Jinseo in this position. So that's why in this position, the best move is actually using an empty triangle, which is what Shin Jinseo did, playing empty triangle to solidify his shape and not leave any potential weaknesses for Dang Yifei to expose. Now, Dang Yifei played this one extension. This is a very elegant move. The point is, if Black try to block over here and try to make life in the corner, White is going to push. And the consequence of this push is gigantic. If Black tries to save his stones once again, White has this amazing cut. If you calculate the ladder is very good for White, and if White gets his cut, Black is in a huge disaster, Black is in trouble. Dang Yifei must play a move that ensures this group and the corner is connected. Now, there are a few ways to execute this. There is a attachment. If White tries to extend and push and cut apart this one Black stone, Black can use this bump, and number one, threaten this one White stone and also connect back on the next move. This is one variation, but White is going to play like this and Black descent. And this one and the actual game is actually quite similar. So in the actual game, Black just simply did this and connected his stones together. Now, this push and cut doesn't work because simply Black can capture White in the net. Now, after this move, Shin Jinseo had to block over here. The reason is solidifying this center group. Had Shin Jinseo not played around here, this is what's going to happen. Black can jump towards the center, and whilst building the influence and territory on the top side, it is also pressuring these 7 white stones in the center. So Shin Jinseo did not want that to happen. In this kind of position, it will be quite annoying and quite difficult to handle for White. Shin Jinseo blocked this move and built a base for his stones. Now, Black also jumped towards the center. This jump towards the center is a crucial positional and a direction of play move. White took the biggest place on the board and extended over here. If White doesn't extend over here, and let's say Black gets this kind of move, it will be very difficult for White to handle and invade in this area. This will become intimidating, and even though the engine says it's actually equal position, for humans, this is very intimidating position. So Shin Jinseo extended on the top side to balance out the territory and influence. Now, Deng Yifei invaded straight away because black has a sickness. The sickness and influence over here leverage your power and helps you invade deeper into your opponent's territory. Without these stones, this invasion would not work. So in a high level game, in a professional level game or a very high down level, they leverage influence. The surrounding stones impact the value of your next stone. This invasion only works and becomes powerful only because the surrounding stones are strong. You have an army over here, you have a war, you have a sickness over here. Therefore, this invasion is going to be powerful because you can leverage the strength from up here. Now, Shin Jinseo had to defend brutally. Now, Shin Jinseo had to defend in the corner because this strength is almost impossible to fight against. If Shin Jinseo decides to fight like this, black might not even fight. Black might just even take the corner and call it a day. Because if white builds an influence towards the center, that influence facing against this influence, white is not going to make anything. So Shin Jinseo decided to take solid territory first, and black attacks again on the other side. This move actually helps this stone live and gives this stone a direction to jump away. At the moment, this black stone is still not dead, and black is actually going to leave this stone as an RG for later on. So black played the last urgent place on the board, which is extending from on the other side of the board. This is the final move to help black build an influence and build a framework. White jump toward the center, number one, to reduce black's influence and also giving his stones a direction. Now, these are very normal moves at reducing and playing some exchanges. This is also very normal stuff, and this all very normal moves. Now, white starts an attack and try to pressure the 7 black stones on the left side of the board. Black even jumps over here. Black doesn't even care. Deng Yifei is not even scared. He's unfazed. He doesn't even care his stones are under attack because he knows that these stones is so strong. It has so much strength that it can even leverage this RG to make life just over here. And watch what happens. Shin Jinseo is going all out, creating chaos and fighting in black's territory and invading wherever possible. Now, from this moment, the game becomes a chaos. Black ignores the white's invasion and tries to escape. White even sacrifices these 2 white stones. Black plays over here, white goes over here. This empty triangle, another empty triangle. Now, this empty triangle, white is saying, I'm giving up this 2 stones because on my next move, if I get sente, Shin Jinseo can jump into the corner and take equal compensation from what he lost over here. This empty triangle, on the other hand, it actually is the strongest move at separating these black stones apart. Black connects over here, white push and separates the 6 black stones apart. Now watch how Deng Yifei handles this chaos and handles this position. One space attachment. Now you might be thinking, what is going on? There's no way black can make 2 eyes inside this position. But this is where professional level Tetsuji, positional handling, and positional understanding really comes into play and really show in the actual game and in the actual position. Now, while obviously Hane is one of the strongest moves at attacking the black stones, black reverse Hane on the second line. While black goes on the second line to create a base on the side and also create potential space for life. Atari connect, white connects over here. Black goes back, white captures and separates apart these 5 black stones. So black gave up the tail and lived on the side of the board. Atari, white blocks. If black gets captured, white can simply block, so it doesn't really matter. Black plays over here, white defends and cuts apart the black stones. Now in this position, black actually gets sente. Black played this descent and tries to brutally attack this white stone. Now in this position, even though white lost these 2 stones, white did gain these 5 stones in the center. So the position is kind of balanced. But actually in this position, it already benefits black. Black is already slightly ahead in this position. This stone got attacked, this group got stronger, and it's much harder for white to handle this stone in this position right now. However, white does get some compensation later on from these stones. White gets to have this very nice Tetsuji. This move actually helps save this 1 white stone, and black has to play something like this. Something like this is going to happen, and white is going to get some compensation and reduce black's territory. Black cannot fight like this because white is simply going to connect and they're going to enter a capturing race. Even though it looks like black is better from this exchange, black did get the corner territory over here, black get the 2 stones over here, black also got the corner over here, but white does have some endgame compensation for later on. But in this position, it's already beneficial and good for black in this position. White goes down over here, which is sente move. Black push into the corner and lives like this. Mind you guys, this group is alive. If white Atari is over here, black is simply capture. And this group, again, is unconditionally alive. So, white tries to make some mess. Again, creating chaos. Black has to connect from the peep, and white plays a nice move. This net takes away all the RG from this side and doesn't give white this endgame move anymore. White peeps again a probing move and attach. Look at this chaos. This is literally the beauty inside chaos. This is a game you'll see where both players turn chaos into a very spectacular ending. This is not a move an entry-level professional player will come up with. This is very daring, and it suits Shin Jinseo's fighting style. If black doesn't answer correctly, then white is going to get a lot of advantage, and Shin Jinseo is going to navigate through all this chaos. The top engine move in this position is to simply connect, solidify your stones, and give black no weakness whatsoever. When your stones are strong, you can attack these 2 white stones with more ease. In the actual game, Yifei played this move and it gave Shin Jinseo some fighting chance to come back. Now the game is back to even. Atari, push, and black has to capture. This push is a very big sente because it threatens a double Atari. Some basic capturing techniques. Now, this is another position where the top professional 9Dan used an empty triangle. And mind you guys, this is actually the top engine move as well. This empty triangle is the most efficient way of saving this cutting point and saving this weakness. If black goes over here to save the weakness, this move loses 5 points. Because it doesn't pressure these 5 white stones, and on the next turn, white can even pressure against the black stones and reduce black's territory. That's why even a subtle move like this, a subtle move like an empty triangle in a high professional game, says it changes the entire dynamic of the fight for later on. Now white cannot pressure like this because black can use this knight move and completely separate these white stones. This is a nice move from this position, from the empty triangle, and white's gonna have a very hard time dealing with this fight. So after here, white plays the vital point. Black plays this Kosumi, aiming to cut apart the 5 white stones. White plays this Tiger's Mouth, which is a way to save his stones together. If white plays somewhere else, black is simply going to play like this. Black is simply going to push. If white cuts, black is going to go here and capture the 5 white stones. If white goes over here, black can connect, and black is going to cut apart these 5 white stones as well. So in this position, Shin Jinseo used the Tiger's Mouth to efficiently connect his stones together and also aim to jump down and break into black territory. Black plays over here, white connects, black plays over here, white descends, and black exchange some sente moves. Now these moves, these exchanges are all sente. In this position, white actually made a blunder. This blunder actually costed white 5 points in value. White connects over here thinking this is a sente because it actually is a sente. Black has another plan. Black plays this Tetsuji. This is a very crucial Tetsuji. Not only does this threaten to cut apart these white stones on the next move, it also threatens to enter white's territory in sente. Because white cannot cut apart these 3 black stones simply because black is going to cut with a Tiger's Mouth. Now this is everything Yifei has planned. After this move, black was already winning the game. So the best move in this position is white should just block like this. If white blocks like this, and Atari, and plays over here, this is a sente, because if white connects, these 3 black stones will end up being captured. Black has to connect, and white gets a descent. White is alive in the corner, and this is also sente. This is also sente. Black needs another move for these stones to live, and white can play around the center and secure his weakness. Now, if white got into this position, the game is still very even. But in the actual game, white connected and black played this brutal Tetsuji. Push! Black push into white's territory, white plays the Atari, black connects, white still needs another move. If white simply, let's say, cut over here or try to capture this black group, black is going to play this brilliant Tetsuji, this brilliant attachment to cut apart this entire white stones. There's nothing white can do. If white pushes over here, black is going to simply cut apart this one and capture this one white stone. And all of these white stones is actually going to end up being captured. So in this position, white has to come back and save his stones, and black connects. White captures the two black stones, and black even plays this efficient endgame move before saving his stones. Now white leaves this for later because this is white's center anytime. White pushes, this normal stuff. They go into some endgame, play some endgame exchanges. Now they enter into some endgame and exchange some endgame moves. It's a very normal sequence, very okay sequence. Now is the last bit of the game. White play here, try to start a ko. This is the last critical moment of the game. Starting a ko, black fights a ko. White captures. This blocking into is a very big endgame move. White plays the next biggest endgame move, black blocks. Now, white played over here and blocks at S10. This S10 block is actually the move that lost Shin Jinseo the game. These two stones are way too important and way too crucial. White must fight the ko. If white wins the ko, white has like 10 points of territory towards the center, almost 10 points of territory. But if white doesn't fight the ko, look what happens. Black pushes, black cuts. This cut is a brilliant Tetsuji. I'll show you why in a minute. And black plays this nice move. Now these two white stones are completely captured. You see the difference between this position where black has gained maybe 7-8 points over here versus this position if white fought the ko. It's a completely different position. This position is over 10. This position territorial wise is probably like 10 points in value, but white played this move which is about 6 points ish in value. So this endgame move lost white like 4 points, and in a professional level game, 4 points is going to decide the outcome of a game. Now, the reason this push and cut is crucial is because if black doesn't push and cut and black simply plays over here, white is going to capture these black stones. But because black pushed and cut, white must descend, otherwise if black gets a descent over here, then oh my god, this 6 white stone is going to end up in a lot of trouble. So after white plays over here, black plays over here. Now this doesn't work anymore because black is going to push out with an Atari. These 4 white stones are going to be in Atari. White must play over here, and black has to connect. And there is actually no way for white to save these 2 white stones in the center of the board. Now white played a few move exchanges, few move endgame moves. Playing over here, Atari like this, playing over here at the sente move and capturing the sente. Now, white capture back with the ko. Black doesn't even need to fight the ko anymore because black simply captures these 2 white stones in the center of the board. Now, in this position, according to AI, black is already winning by 6.5 points after komi, which means black is already winning by 13 to 14 points on the board. White played this move, black played over here. White push. Now, watch how black handles this position. Black doesn't even block over here. Black simply descent. The reason black descent is because on the next move with L1, if black gets to play L1, these 2 white stones end up going to get captured. White plays over here and black plays the final finishing blow. Not capturing with L1, not even blocking. He played this Atari. What a spectacular finish and ending to this game. The reason he played this move is because he wants sente. Yifei wants sente. If white connects over here, black is going to Atari with another sente and then capture on L1. And this game is completely over in this position. If white captures one stone, black gets to Atari and black gets to cut apart this one white stone. So black finished the game off with a beautiful endgame Tetsuji. And this is a game that won Yifei 1.8 million yuan and got the entire Chinese Go community on fire. It is literally fireworks. You can search this game on Google and there are dozens of news on the internet speaking about this game. Now, I hope you all enjoy this game. Now, if you want to learn Go and get better at Go, check the link below where I teach Go from beginner to single digit Q in the fastest way possible. We have students that went from beginner to 9Q in 2.5 months. We have students that went from 12Q to 9Q in 3 weeks. And I also have a student who went from 5Q to 1 Dan in only 5 months. So if you want to learn Go the fastest and the most modern way there is on the internet, check my school link below and join my Go community. We have a growing Go community and we have a modern way where you can learn Go in the fun and the most entertaining way possible. I'll see you all in the next video and I hope to see you inside my school. Bye bye.